We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Cliff Jumper would be so proud of all these videos that have been done lately of Transformers, but here we go with another Transformers video. Transformers, the movie Studio Series 86. We got Junkion Scrapheap. This is another awesome addition to the Junkion collection we are getting now with the Transformers Studio Series from the movie. Absolute excellent stuff. All coming out right around the time of this year 40th anniversary. No better time to be a Transformer fan and start collecting and finding all these wonderful figures that we wish we could have gotten years ago.
This must be the junk capital of the universe.
Here we go with a quick shot with Junkion Scrapheap that we're getting ready to take a look at, and of course Wreck-Gar on the end there. All these guys are relatively the same damn size. I love it.
Offer expires while you wait. Operators are standing by.
Real quick, I'll bring out some of the other Junkions that I have, and you can see this is where you start getting that crazy scaling, the size differences. So, Trash Master is one of the largest out of the Evolution series that is technically not tied to the 86 movie, even though they're supposed to be relatively based off some of the Junkions we've seen in 86. It is not directly tied to it, so these ones are completely out of scale. And of course, we got Scraphook on the right, a little bit, well, a lot smaller than Trash Master, and then the little Crash Bar all the way on the tippy top of Scrapheap, who is much shorter than all the rest of them. He is the smallest Junkion so far in the series of figures that they came out with.
Forward, Avanti, and I go for the gusto.
Here we go, right out of the box, we have Scrapheap. This one is very much like the other two Junkions, Wreck-Gar and Junkion. He's got a lot of reuse. The top of the legs and everything, and the bottom of the waist. The funny thing is where Wreck-Gar and Scrapheap both had this center abdomen piece that was transferred over. This one doesn't. This one is a completely different design with that. And the waist is not quite as sloppy as it was on Wreck-Gar and Junkion. So that's pretty cool. But a lot of the stuff coming down to the legs is very similar. I think there's a slight change right here with the molding. And the arms are pretty much the same. But yeah, the shoulders are redesigned. The chest is completely redesigned. Of course, a completely different redesigned head. And I even believe the front end of the motorcycle is a completely different design. But let's go ahead, we'll get out some more of his accessories and put him in some action poses.
Don't look behind door number 2, Monty. It's time to play. End of the line, my Valentine.
Go with Scrapheap in a bit of a kneeling position, showing off some of the articulation. Of course, the same as the other ones, the knee joint, got the rockers down in the feet, got a little bit of pivot as well. He's got the turn at the bicep. He's got a decent elbow cut right there. His hands do turn. He has a waist turn. And of course, he has some movement with the ball that's in the head. And of course, we've got his tires ported onto his arms. And let's go ahead with the next one. We had to get a little bit of help from the stand to actually balance this guy, but we got Scrapheap in a bit of a running position right here. Pretty damn cool. He does come with a blaster, unlike Wreck-Gar and Junkion.
It's not hard to knock them down. It's getting them to stay down that's the trick.
And of course, much like Wreck-Gar and Junkion, Scrapheap can actually port those tires down on the legs as well. And of course, the same thing as those two. They can spin while they're sitting down there.
You check in, but you don't check out.
Here we go with Scrapheap in his Junkion motorcycle form. There were a few slight changes to the way this one transformed into the motorcycle form. but it was a little tricky at first because you got used to the way the Wreck-Gar and the Junkion one transform, and you just assumed it's going to be exactly the same, just slight variance, but it really wasn't that bad once I figured out what they had done. The weapon does port onto the side. It could port onto either side because it does have a double peg, and there are plenty of ports all over this thing to be able to port that weapon in when he's in his motorcycle form. I gotta say, man, this thing is really freaking cool. I just like the way that they've done this one, and so glad I was able to snag this one when I did.
Steady as she goes, Bob. Snoopy visitors get mud in the eye by and by. Film it in a...
Overall, I gotta say, it's another one that I am fairly impressed with. Once again, a bit of a reuse on the bodies. A few joints that are not sloppy loose, but they are a little bit looser than you would hope to see with a brand new figure. But overall, Scrapheap is actually incredibly well done. I really do love these Junkions that they've made. I really hope that they go and they create a few more, even if it's just for the United line, make some more smaller Junkions. These things are fantastic, and I love seeing them. This one, I think, does fairly well with everything that he has so far, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this one. This one is going to get a 9 out of 10 from the Guinea Pig Collective. Guys, remember, Helmet, the new Transformers pig, and of course, Cliff Chirper. Hope that you enjoyed this one. Be sure to let them know what you thought. Later, y'all.
Transformers, more than